Oh, we are so fascinated by Ohio. Every day we do a video about Ohio, I'm just like, man, I learn more and more.
Ohio's become quite popular recently in pop culture.
Yes, especially in the paranormal kind of sector of the internet.
So in the true theme of Most Amazing, we are going to tell you the top 10 disturbing haunted places in Ohio.
Let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Preble County has a number of reportedly haunted hotspots, including Brubaker Bridge. Brubaker Bridge was built in 1887 over a creek. The bridge became rather infamous after a tragic accident in the 30s. A group of young folks coming back from a party crashed their car inside the covered bridge. The impact was so severe that their bodies were flung from the vehicle in pieces. One young man was initially thought missing entirely, but was later found to have been ejected so far from the car that it landed in the brush, and his body was completely overlooked and was eventually lost to the elements. Since then, people crossing the bridge have reported strange occurrences like car engines mysteriously dying and a tapping sound on car windows, which some believe is the young man still trying to be found.
Next on our list is the Mansfield Reformatory, also known as the Ohio State Reformatory, and the inspiration behind Shawshank Redemption. It was also temporarily home to country music singer David Allen Cole, Confederate Army General John Hunt Morgan, mobster George Bugs Moran, and gangster aides Charlie Mackley and Harry Piper Point. During the prison's years of operation, over 200 people died on the grounds, including guards who were killed during a prison escape. Illnesses ran rampant throughout the institute. Riots often broke out, and one inmate even set themselves on fire. At one point, 120 inmates were jammed into 12 solitary confinement cells and kept without food and water for days, which caused many prisoners to go mad, and kill one another. And of course, as it so often goes, many of those who died in the prison are believed to have never left. Visitors to the former penitentiary have reported being pushed and even punched by unseen forces. These ghosts are mad. People have also felt inexplicable chills and have heard cell doors slam, and have also seen dark apparitions wandering around the halls. If you like haunted places, this might be a great place to go, but maybe wear some protective padding.
Buckeye, Jake's Eatery and Bar. Sounds like a place with some good grub. Must be good though, because the place is still open despite the fact that some staff have run screaming out of the place, never to return. To say it's haunted would be an understatement. What doesn't go on at this place? People will report items flying off the shelves, black shadowy figures roaming through the halls after the place has been closed up for the night, doors opening by themselves, chairs and tables have fallen over seemingly on their own. The sound system will often switch channels out of nowhere. There's even the spectral figure of a woman in a white gown who's known to staff as Helen.
Well, considering the fact that the chairs are moving, we know that James will not be going there. If you guys have been with this channel for a while, you probably know James has a completely rational fear of chairs. Next up, the Ridges, aka Athens Lunatic Asylum. I'm sorry for roasting you so badly. Alright you guys, the asylum was built in Athens, Ohio in 1868, and the first patient to be admitted was a young woman suffering from epilepsy. However, her parents believed that she was possessed by a demon. Of course, it was the 1800s. The institution went on to house men and women with a variety of mental illnesses, as well as war veterans, rule breakers, the homeless, the elderly, and even the criminally insane. I guess it was a kind of hospital slash prison slash municipal lawsuit waiting to happen. Treatments at the hospital often included lobotomies, which either led to death or patients ending up with seizures, hemorrhages, and internal bleeding, causing them to live out the rest of their days as a shell of their former selves. During the hospital's years of operation, 700 women and 959 men died while receiving treatment in the dangerously overcrowded and asbestos-infested facility. One of the most famous deaths that took place on the grounds was that of a 50-year-old female patient who had gone missing for 6 weeks only to be found in an unused room of the asylum. She had taken off her clothes, folded them neatly, and then then laid down on the floor to die. It's unclear whether or not foul play was involved, although it does seem kind of strange. Her body left a stain on the floor that is still visible after all of these years, and it is said that that woman, along with many other patients who died on the grounds, continue to roam and haunt the property to this day.
Here's something you don't hear about every day: a haunted mall. Only in Ohio, right? Sandusky Mall in Erie County has its perfect name. It has its fair share of ghostly urban legends and ghost stories. One story goes that a police officer noticed a mysterious red light at the mall's main entrance one night around 1:30 a.m. while he finished up some paperwork in his squad car, and as he approached the light, it had just vanished. He thought it could have been mall security, but it turned out they were all the way on the other side of the building. An employee at Kaufman's department store reported feeling an unexpected cold presence and actually fell over when she turned around to see what it was. She got this gust of cold air and nobody was actually there. Even the American Eagle at this mall is haunted. Like, how many places in the world are you gonna find a haunted American Eagle? One of the most frequently reported ghostly sightings at the mall is the woman in the red dress. Two of the most well-known accounts are from an overnight security guard and a visitor of the mall. The overnight guard had been on patrol when he mistook her for a real person and called the police before this woman in the dress just vanished into thin air. There have also been reports of a headless hitchhiker and a driverless car seen outside the mall. Never have I wanted to go to a mall so badly.
Next on our list today, we have Franklin Castle, located in Cleveland, Ohio. The castle was originally inhabited by the Tideman family. Prior to building Franklin Castle, Haynes Tideman and his wife lived in a different house on the same property, but tragedy struck and one by one the couple watched as almost all of their sons and daughters died. After the tragic losses, the Tidemans decided to tear down their previous home and build the Franklin Castle in its place. But it seems that whatever was haunting the family was unfazed by the change of scenery. Mrs. Tideman died in 1890, and after that the Tidemans' remaining sons and daughters lost their lives as well. After Haynes Tideman passed, it is rumored that the castle's many hidden passages became a meeting place for local members of a foreign hate group. Not only that, but apparently during one of those meetings a killing spree broke out. The house, which some believe to be the most haunted house in all of Ohio, is now open to the public, and visitors to the castle who have slept in the rooms of the deceased report having felt the presence of the dead, as well as having heard strange noises throughout the home. If you do decide to visit, I think it's like a one-night stay. It's pretty creepy. If you have visited, let me know all about it.
Next up, we have Fudge Road in Gratis. How could a place named Fudge Road possibly be evil? Well, it turns out the place is just teeming with ghoulies. You got the spirits of two men who died on the road during an illicit substance bust. There have also been sightings of a white humanoid beast reported in the area. The bridge on Fudge Road, known locally as Crybaby Bridge, has multiple ghosts. Legend has it that a mother in the 1800s threw her son off the bridge, and his spirit is still said to haunt the area, along with the spirit of a woman who hanged herself from the bridge after losing her infant. It's said that if you park your car there, you shut it off, roll down the window, and say "Mama" 3 times, you might hear the ghostly cries of one of those little ghosts. And finally, you have the story of a truck driver who died after driving off the bridge, and he haunts the place, of course, because no one in Ohio just dies and stays dead, apparently.
Next up, we've got Helltown, located in the Boston township of Summit County in Ohio. Not only is it a ghost town, but it's a ghost town. Ghosts Town. It was founded in 1806, but in 1974, President Ford ordered the town to be vacated so that the area could be used as a national park, or so he said. People were forced out of their homes until the entire township was abandoned. Originally, the homes were supposed to be demolished and removed, and the land brought back to its natural state, but neither of those things ever happened. Instead, the town sat abandoned and destitute, begging the question of why its residents were forcibly forcibly removed in the first place. Many believe that there was a chemical spill in the area and that the government's removal of the town's residents was actually a cover-up, but of course there's no way to be sure. What we do know is that after the townspeople left, the area became the perfect setting for satanic worship. The grounds are now said to be cursed by the devil, thus earning itself the very fitting nickname Helltown.
Hereford Station in New London is said to be haunted by a woman named Augusta Bowman. In the mid-1890s, Hereford Station was a busy hub on the B&O Railroad. It's now abandoned, but it's still home to some creepy spectral figures, or really one. The station, alongside a hotel and restaurant, sat in a valley just south of New London on Route 60. Augusta Bowman, a single mother of two who worked in the local restaurant, became romantically entangled. She had an entanglement with the married restaurant owner, but when he discovered that she planned to leave him for another man, he got jealous. Hypocritical much? He killed Bowman and disposed of her body in a nearby creek. Well, guess who haunts the area now? Railroad workers have been known to report seeing a distressed young woman wandering near the edge of the woods along the tracks, who of course vanishes into thin air. Oh, and here's a really creepy thing though that's been said to happen. Locals will see a white-faced woman just peering into their windows at night. And I imagine they go outside and she's not there anymore.
And finally, we have the Lima Tuberculosis Hospital, a sanitarium whose doors originally opened in 1911 during the rise of the tuberculosis epidemic. At first, the hospital was equipped with only 24 beds, but in 1927, due to a rise in the number of infected individuals, the hospital was remodeled to hold 158 beds. The sanitarium was in operation for 62 years, during which time an estimated 3,000 patients died from their illnesses under the hospital's care, which is wild considering that it didn't house a lot of people. Now, the grounds are said to be extremely haunted, of course, by deceased patients. People have claimed to have had ghosts following them through the halls of the abandoned building, and on the third floor, explorers have reported hearing a very low, steady pounding noise, as well as having seen shadowy figures quickly moving around the halls and in and out of rooms. Today, the area is pretty heavily guarded by police, as it is not only abandoned but also banned for the safety of the public. So if you are hoping to go ghost hunting in Ohio, you might have to leave this one off your list, unfortunately, despite the fact that it would probably be a pretty cool place to visit. But I'm not condoning that. That's liability is not mine. No, don't go.
Well, there you have it. Some destinations for all of you to go to, including that last one
Okay.
on your next Ohio trip, folks.
But you didn't hear that from us. I've been your host, Hannah Thompson.
I've been your host, James.
Stay safe and don't get arrested.